Greetings once again, friends, and live from Retro Central. My name is Peter, and this is another episode of Consolation. As always, I thank you very much for taking the time to check out my work today, and I hope that you'll enjoy, or at least be able to identify with the topic that I've chosen for this particular episode. To be quite honest, I had another topic all lined up. I had been thinking about this topic for the last 3 days. But that topic's being moved. As a matter of fact, it will be up on RetroWare TV later this week. But there's something else that's pressing on my mind a bit more. To preface, let me talk about Irritating Stick for the PlayStation. Some of you may not recognize Irritating Stick. Others may look at this and go, oh god, that game? Yes, that game. The game that video game reviewers just really didn't get, or didn't understand, or thought was substandard, or average at best. A game that when I used to play it at Funcoland, customers used to come in and scratch their heads and ask me what kind of drugs I was taking because the game just looked stupid. But still, it's a game that I enjoyed from the first time I played it. As a matter of fact, the copy that you see over here on the GX TV is the original copy that I bought from Funcoland in 1999. It took me about 15 minutes of play to really get into it. It's simple at its heart. It's like a carnival game. You take a stick, you guide it through the maze without touching the edges. If you touch the edge in this game, your controller vibrates and you get yelled at. But it's arcade simplicity. It's basically an arcade game with a kooky announcer who yells at you half the time, with crazy maze designs, with Mr. Robot and Mrs. Robot providing even more challenges. It's a silly game, probably a guilty pleasure game, but nonetheless one that I really enjoy playing. And one that I got my fair share of crap for buying, to be quite honest, and I still do to this day. When I've posted pictures of this online, on Instagram for example, I get a lot of question marks and questions. Why do you play this game? Why do you own it? Why? It's silly. My taste is different than yours. Your taste is different than mine. Your taste is probably different from the person 3 doors down from you. And that's okay. Difference of opinion is okay. Even in extreme cases, for example, the Legend of Zelda series. I know that people put Legend of Zelda on a huge pedestal. People think that they're some of the best games ever made. Review scores reflect that. I get it. I understand that the games are very well crafted. Visually and musically, the games are stupendous. The game design was revolutionary at its time. The lore has grown by leaps and bounds over the years. Those games aren't for me. I've tried to play those games from the original Legend of Zelda all the way to the Ocarina of Time, which is when I just stopped because I realized that the games just weren't my thing. I played the original Legend of Zelda for maybe an hour. I tried playing it 4 different times. Never panned out. Zelda 2, I played a little bit less because it was different than the first Zelda game and I never really got into the controls. The Link to the Past, Zelda 3 for the Super Nintendo, is the game that I played the longest, so I consider that the best. But I only got to the Dark World, I think it is, and this is many years ago. And then I just lost interest and didn't finish playing. And then when it came to Ocarina of Time in 1998, I played that for maybe 2 hours before going back to Metal Gear Solid and eventually turning around and selling the game back to the store. So, I grant that the Legend of Zelda games are truly fantastic and life-changing for some people, and that's fantastic. I'll never feel the same way. I won't buy any of these Zelda games again. I probably won't play the Zelda games again. Just because I don't like them doesn't mean they're bad. It's just that difference of opinion, once again. This difference of opinion not only exists in video games, which is obviously more meaningful to me, but in terms of movies as well. And this is where the Oscar the Grouch shirt comes in, because I'm a little miffed about this. As you know, or maybe not know, the movie Pixels is opening in theaters this weekend. It's a movie that stars Adam Sandler. Go ahead, commence the booze, I can hear you already. And Kevin James, yes, the Paul Blart guy. And Peter Dinklage, which may not get as many boos, as they take on arcade games from the 1980s. scarier counterparts of Pac-Man and Galaga and Q*bert and others. This movie for me is in my wheelhouse. If you know me at all, you understand that arcade gaming is at the core of who I am. I spent so much time in arcades as a kid, I probably should have paid rent. And these games for me were iconic. So seeing these in any kind of movie, regardless of its potential quality, is going to be something that I'm going to go see. Now, reviewers have more than panned the movie. The movie had a 0 on Rotten Tomatoes until one review gave it a 4 stars out of 5, which boosted it from the basement, much to the chagrin of some video game websites who were cheering the absolute crapitude of the movie. And I think that's what bothers me the most about this. It's not so much that critics hate the movie, and talking movie critics hating the movie, because let's face it, anything with Adam Sandler in it, movie critics are going to hate. They have that predisposition already in place. Once you see Adam Sandler in it, it immediately sucks. There's no rescuing it. There's no going back. Adam Sandler is to movie reviewers cancer, and that's just what it is. I don't like it, but I accept it because that's just the reputation the man has. But for video game sites to jump on board and to be cheering the failure of the movie in reviews, to me, is just, it's disgusting. And it disgusts me even more to see core gaming fans shit on the movie as well. Oh, big surprise, it sucks. Even though most haven't seen it. Kind of like games, when they read reviews and they know automatically, based on the review, whether the game is good or bad because of what the reviewer says, not because of their own personal experience. I'm not going to be bullied by reviewers, and I'm not going to be influenced by the cynicism that I see on Twitter or within the video game community about this movie. I'm just not. And I have my reasons for that. And it's not just because it's a video game movie. I'll admit right here on camera that I've seen just about every Adam Sandler movie there is. From Happy Madison all the way to Blended. Yeah, some of them have been really bad. Don't mess with a Zohan. I kind of regret seeing that one. But with Adam Sandler's movies, there's this comfortable repetitiveness and familiarity that I appreciate. I'm a guy who runs under a lot of stress. I'm a very anxious person. You know that, if you know me at all. And these movies, when I go to see them for 90 minutes to 100 minutes, allow me to just turn my brain off and just have a good time. I know what to expect. I'm going to see Saturday Night Live people again that I hadn't seen since the last Adam Sandler movie. I'm going to get callbacks to the 1970s and 80s with that classic rock soundtrack that Sandler always seems to implement somewhere that identifies with my youth. And there are going to be other nostalgic callbacks that make me feel younger. Sandler and I are not that much different in age, and we practically, even though we don't know each other, we practically grew up together. I grew up watching him on Saturday Night Live as Opera Man and doing other sketches that he's famous for. His Halloween sketches when he would make crazy costumes, for example. You know, I'm crazy nose guy, you know, give me some candy, stuff like that. That's stuff that I personally think is hilarious. Not everyone is going to get that humor, and that's okay. I don't expect everyone to get or to understand or appreciate stupid humor because it's stupid. Some people want to use their brains more. Some people expect more quality out of movies when they pay their $10.50 or whatever it is to get in. For me, I'll let you in on a little secret. I don't watch dramas in the movies at all. Anything that has to do with any kind of personal life crisis or anything that generates emotion, I can't stand because life's difficult enough. For me, while games are an escape, movies are more of an escape where I can just press pause on my life and laugh my ass off. And Adam Sandler, along with the Farrelly brothers, just happen to do that the best. Yes, I'm that idiot that liked the Three Stooges movie too. Sorry. And that's difference of opinion should be okay, but what really bothers me is people who are honestly excited to see the movie are getting sucked into the shitstorm that is people just gloating about how bad the movie apparently is. And how by association you shouldn't see it because you're supporting crap. You know, enough with that. Let people do what they want to do. Please. People can make their own decisions. People can exercise their freedom of choice. They shouldn't have to be called on the carpet for it because they have tastes that are different than yours. That doesn't make them any less than you. It doesn't make you any better than them. It just means you have different choices. You have different tastes. You spend time differently. Your entertainment preferences vary. And that's okay. We're not all one being. We're all unique individuals that have different tastes, different likes, different dislikes. And the way it should be is an understanding of those differences and an acceptance of those differences. Not, you're going to see Pixels? What the hell's wrong with you? But you're going to see Pixels? Okay, I didn't hear it was that good, but I'll be interested to hear what you say about it. In a perfect world, that's how we should react. Let people be interested in the things that they want to be interested in, regardless of what you think the quality might be. Don't judge for them. Let them judge for themselves. If I hadn't judged for myself, I would have missed out on one of my coolest guilty pleasures of all time. And that would be disappointing. I just hope that you'll think about that. Until the next time, my friends, thank you very much for watching Consolation. Take care.